Yes.
De-
Good
Deputy-
morning.
Good morning, Deputy Chief Justice.
Good morning. Good morning. You are welcome. Thank you for availing yourself.
May I say, if the commissioners, I know that you sat until late last night and so forth. If you have to eat, I would rather not want you hungry and angry. So I don't mind waiting if that is from my perspective.
Yes. No. Now that you are here, we'll rather interview you, and then we can eat afterwards. Just one second.
Not mine.
Well, just so that Commissioner Judicial doesn't have to remind everybody, I've greeted the candidate on behalf of everybody. Mr. Villiers, once again, welcome, and thank you very much for availing yourself for consideration for appointment to the Gauteng Division of the High Court. I see that you have you hold the degrees BCom LLB. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And were they both from the University of Stellenbosch?
That is correct.
And the BCom was obtained in 1984 and the LLB in 1986?
That is correct.
And when were you admitted as an advocate?
1994.
And when did you start practicing as an advocate?
In 1994, I did pupillage for the first 6 months and then commenced in July that year.
And have you been in practice since then?
I've been in practice since then.
And when did you take silk?
Formally in 2018, but my nomination was approved in 2016.
Yes. Was that a delay in taking silk, or was it not?
It is very much in the norm. I would submit. I waited until I was ready and I applied. And to my disappointment, I was overlooked the first time, and I think two of the commissioners here.
Yeah.
I still want to ask them why, but I was nominated the next year.
So, what type of cases have you been handling in your practice since 1994?
Yeah.
What branches of law and what types of cases?
Yeah. It is in fact a broad range because you develop over the period. So right at the outset, in the first few years, I did some criminal work. I did a lot of magistrates court work on insurance work in those, and then gradually it developed. I think you would describe my practice as a commercial practice in the main, and that is how it played out over the years. I very often act for smaller businesses and the like in my practice.
Yeah, so mainly your practice has been commercial.
It has been mainly a commercial. I steered away from certain types of work where I thought I wasn't ideally suited, and in the bar, unfortunately, we couldn't maintain in those days both civil practice and the criminal practice. Once you started to do criminal work, you got a label as a criminal advocate, and that's the only work you got. So I steered it more towards away from to civil work.
Does that suggest that you don't have much criminal law practice experience?
My criminal law experience is limited. I have about 6 months of prosecuting authority experience. I did initially a few bits of the normal pro deos and bail applications and things like that. And in later years now, my criminal experience has really been on the bench. I made myself available for 2 terms in the criminal courts. I have written many judgments and so forth in criminal appeals. I think I have mastered where I lack that experience. And if I may say, in fact, in the TUE, there's a quotation from one of my judgments on bail. And I think that shows. And in all the criminal appeal judgments, I think I wrote as far as I can remember, I wrote all of them with the permanent judges concurring. I don't think that it is a defect standing in my way. I believe I will be able to carry my load fully in the division.
And I see that you have acted for 56 weeks, is that right?
It is now 60.
It is now 60.
It is now 60.
Yes.
At that time it was 56, but it is now 60.
Yes. And more or less, how many reported judgments have you been able to write during your existence? Or reported rather than reportable?
Yeah, it's a very important distinction.
Yes.
I want to say one thing before I answer the question. I took my lead from Judge van der Linde and from other judges. We said that an acting judge's role is to keep the wheels rolling, and you shouldn't mark your judgments reportable. So I've marked all my judgments not reportable. But despite that, 2 of them are reported in the South African law reports, the most important one. And as far as, I'm sorry if I may, I don't want to talk down to anyone, but if I may just explain to the non-lawyers, that is the general law report that is, every year about 200 cases are reported, about 40% of them are from the Constitutional Court and the SCA, and the rest are from other judgments and divisions. And then one of them overlaps with the report in a smaller law report, a specialist one, the commercial law reports. Then one is reported in a specialist law report, the battles on intellectual property law. It's also outside my field of expertise. And one of them is reported, and there the lawyers must help me, but I think it is reported if it is contained in Corbett on quantum of damages, although again, the road accident fund matters are outside my normal practice. But I have a matter in there as well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Judge President Mlambo.
Thank you very much, Acting Chief Justice. Advocate de Villiers, good afternoon.
Judge President.
This is the second time you come to talk to us. The first time was in April.
The first one was in April, that is correct.
Yeah. I'm not going to waste time with you. Your spreadsheet suggests that you've done 67 weeks acting. Although me and you have debated whether it's 67 or 61, but let's settle on 67.
I will never disagree with you, Judge President.
You can disagree with me. But let's talk about, I think you've done your fair share of the difficult work areas. And I see you, despite your limited criminal law exposure, you've done criminal work trials. You've got criminal trials in the division. And that was at your request.
It was at my request. I knew that it was a deficiency in my experience.
Right. So in terms of the judgments you've written, your list suggests you've done 89 judgments that you've actually written.
For that list, I never want to disagree with you, but that list contains 4 extempore judgments.
Okay, because I wanted to check that, when we are in the agent court, you won't survive with reserve judgments if you reserve everything that you hear. Yeah. So you do have to deliver extempores at some stage. But you also mentioned one important point in your list of judgments, that you've never had to reserve for more than 3.5 months. Yeah, am I correct?
All my judgments have been delivered within 3 months and 2 days. Yes. The actual statistics is that 96% of them are within 2 months, 75% within a month, more than 50% in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think the DCJ, the Acting Chief Justice, has taken you through your resume. You are a silk. You've appeared in the Superior Court. Have you appeared in the Constitutional Court?
Unfortunately, not. I couldn't get leave to in the matters that I wanted to take.
But you've appeared in the SCA.
I have appeared in the SCA.
I see. And your list of judgments actually provides a very good bird's eye view of the matters you've set in, because it's a wide range. Contractual civil law, company law, property law, personal injury law, refugee and administrative law. It's quite a wide range. And do you feel that that has prepared you for permanent judicial appointment?
With respect, it has. I mean,
Yes.
I have grown enormously as a result of the opportunities that you gave me as a lawyer. Thank you very much.
But let me ask you this, because it features, although I won't mention names, you are a silk, but you've given acting quite a lot of time. I battle to get silks to give me more than 2 weeks. Some of them sitting in this room have never come, despite me trying to call them. What's the story?
It is a combination of factors. That it is. But that first year after you gave me the opportunity in 2016, I mean, I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
And then I said to you, I'm available every year for 4 or 5 weeks. You can use me because it was such a great experience.
Yeah.
And so it continued until I then decided, but I'm going to put myself before this commission, and I will take every acting opportunity that I can get.
Yes.
And as you know, you could phone me and say, I need a judge for urgent court in recess. Are you available? And it will be the few days before, and I will say yes, and I'll take it.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Let's hope those listening have heard and they'll oblige me. Thank you very much, Acting Chief Justice. I have no further questions.
You say those who have ears will hear.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge President.
Justice,
Yes.
maybe you must switch your role back to the Zondo Commission.
Yeah, that's why he called the candidate a witness.
No, that is true. MEC Lesufi, do you have any questions for this candidate?
Yes, yes, I do. Thank you so much,
Please go ahead.
Chief Justice, for the opportunity. Advocate Villiers, the last time you were with us, this team felt you are not ready. How did you take it, and why do you think you are ready now?
MEC, that is a good question. I put myself forward to go through this process with the firm belief that in myself. I don't want to go say much more about that. If the Commission, in balancing all the factors that it must take into account to appoint judges to the Gauteng division, then say to me, sorry, then I must take it on the chin. And I took it on the chin, I am back again trying to convince this commission to nominate me. I hope that answers your question.
It does, but I just want to know, how did you take it personally?
Personally?
Yes,
no, personally. But I would ask you not to take me to those personal matters, because that becomes very difficult here. Of course, I was disappointed, but there were candidates that you have made judges that I was elated about too, because I think that they would strengthen that bench so much, and that it is necessary for them to serve. So it was mixed emotion, and because you have the support of friends and family and so forth, I didn't go and sit in a heap. I just carried on with life.
Covered. No further question from my side, Chief Justice. Thank you so much, Advocate.
Thank you, MEC.
Thank you, MEC. Commissioner Nyambi, and then Commissioner Matonsela.
Thank you,
Acting Chief Justice. Afternoon, Advocate Villiers.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Nyambi.
One question from my side. It's linked to the question by Commissioner Lesu. Besides what has been raised by the JP, with the hindsight, if you go back and reflect about the last time we were here and today, anything that you think is significant that you think you might have presented it in a particular way, but now coming today, we've got a different view so that we can seriously consider you this time around?
If there is something, Commissioner, that you want me to respond, then I will gladly do so. But the feedback that I had from friends is to say that you saw too little of me because I don't want to speak about myself. So they started to put things before me and said, why did you not tell them about this, that, and that, what you've done, and so forth. And I, it is who I am. I think the one matter that I'm so grateful for is that letter that you will see that the young advocate wrote, unsolicited. It came as a complete surprise. I think that didn't come through in the previous interview. If you read that letter about what he says about me, my treatment of him and the other black counsel, I think you missed that part of me because I'm not. I said last time, I'm not a salesman, but here I must sell myself, and it makes me extremely uncomfortable. And that would be my answer. Unless there is something else that you want me to, I will gladly explain more about myself.
No, thanks, Advocate. Thanks, Acting Chief Justice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nyambi. Commissioner Matonsela.
Thank you, Ex-Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Advocate Villiers.
Good afternoon.
Let me zoom into the real matter that we dealt with last time. It appeared last time that I raised the question that you were a member of the Dutch Reformed Church, and that at the time that you were such a member, the Dutch Reformed Church was associated with the apartheid state, as a sponsor of the apartheid state. And it also appeared that you were also a member of some military veterans council. And I tried to press you on it, and it did not come out clearly whether you were a member of the South African Defence Forces at the time. And I want you to respond to that because it wasn't too clear to me at that time whether you acknowledged or confessed to having been a member of the South African Defence Force at the time in the height of apartheid in the 1980s. That was the issue.
Then, sorry, Commissioner Mandensela, but yes, if that is the issue, that at the heart of apartheid, whether I served in the military, because on the church thing, I will happily take you further through my journey in the church and so forth. But let me deal then, because I think your question, if I hear you correctly, is that you served in the army at the height of apartheid.
Yes, that is. It is combined with the fact that you were a member of the Dutch Reformed Church at the time in 1984, 1985, right at the height of apartheid, and the time when the military was harassing the black people in the townships.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
On that issue,
I would like you to come clean on that. If you are not, say I was not. If you were, say you were, so that we can then get over it. Because time flies, you know, and time heals.
But on coming clean, I in my curriculum vitae, I did reflect, and I will need a little bit of time to explain this in this commission. I did reflect on my curriculum vitae that I served in the military. And let me just take the commissioners back to a dark time. Okay, but let me first, sorry, I'm jumping forwards and backwards.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. De Villiers. is it so difficult to say, yes, I was in the SNTF
Yeah.
in the 80s? No, I was not.
I was, because it's in my CV,
Yes.
Deputy Chief Justice.
Okay.
But I never served in a township because I didn't want to. And I will get to what I did after. So that's why so when you say that soldiers harassed people in the townships, I didn't, because I didn't serve there. I didn't want to serve there. I made a plan, and that plan, I will explain to you in the chronology in a moment, is that I did an advanced law course and I became a lawyer, and I sat at Edenvale Commando on a Wednesday night, and I moved papers from left to right on my table, and I went home because there was no legal work. But that was the way in which I dealt with that dilemma, that I couldn't serve in the townships. I thought it was wrong what was happening then. But my military career, if a young man here who grew up in Uppington in the 70s sits here, he will tell you, when you get 16, you get a call-up. You get your call-up papers that you must go to the army the moment that you leave school, unless you get a deferment. So I got mine when I was 16 years old. In the milieu in which I grew up in, and I'm nothing here you must hear as defensive, I'm giving you a context. It was a rite of passage, it's what you had to go and do. It was your duty that you must go and serve in the army. So I got onto a train in beginning of 1980, and I went to the base there, that I say, in Bloemfontein. And I served in my military 2 years. There's nothing in that time, and I can expand to you about it as much as you want to hear about this. There's nothing there that would ever embarrass the judiciary or that I did anything like that. Then after that, after your 2 years, we had to serve another 2 years, spread over 12 years. And the advocates may remember that in the Red Book, when we got to the bar, there were all sorts of things about military service. The army could call you up for those 2 years, but they didn't. So I did some camps whilst I studied. And then after I studied, I joined, as I said, I did the law officers thing, and I sat in an office. So if there is a fear in this room that I enforced apartheid through the barrel of a gun in the townships, then I never did. Do I feel used? Yes, I do feel used.
No, I have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Deputy Chief Justice. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous that I sometimes forget to address you properly.
Relax.
I'm sorry.
Relax. Before I go to Commissioner Schlemmer, can I check with commissioners who are on the virtual platform if there is anybody who has a question? No question. Commissioner Schlemmer?
Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Chief Justice.
I would just like you to tell the commissioners, because I think every time when a white male sits here, this question gets asked. What happened to white men when they refused to do military service?
Yeah, it was, but it is that you went to jail. There are, so the army would first of all arrest you and put you in the detention barracks, and then you would be prosecuted and so forth. I didn't, as a military law officer, did that either. But in truth, in 1979 in Uppington, I mean, I knew of no one who would do that. I met those people only later in my life when you reflected on what you did. But I didn't think about that when I got into that train that night. I was not exposed to those ideas, regrettably, but that is the truth.
Thank you. I think we've exhausted questions. One more question, Commissioner Lucas.
Thank you very much, Acting Chief Justice. I actually really don't have a question. It's just that I must declare that we are from the same place, both born in Uppington. And we were in a position to know his father As a lawyer that I have a practice in Uppington and we've been doing a lot for poor and marginalized people. I think I must put that.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
I see he's honest like you.
We have come to the end of the interview. Thank you once again, Mr. Villiers, for availing yourself. You are now excused.
Thank you.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, no, we are done. You are now excused.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Justice.
Thank you.
It's been an immense honor.
Thank you. Thank you.